Hello everyone. I'd like to share a small but very meaningful story. This is my personal experience and I don't claim it will work the same for everyone. What helped me might not help you. But maybe it will let someone look at the game from a different angle and not miss out just because of weak hardware. How I made the zone work. My setup isn't from the future. GTX 1050 Ti 4GB, Ryzen 5 3600, 32GB RAM, and SSDs for both system and Steam. According to the game's minimum requirements, it barely qualifies. Still, I gave it a try. And guess what? S.T.A.L.K.E.R launched and I completed all 4 endings. It all started with pure joy. After years of waiting, just starting the game felt like a celebration. I didn't care how the grass looked or whether shadows were visible. What mattered was the zone, the atmosphere. And it didn't disappoint. Right now on screen, the zone without light. Lighting is turned off, models stripped down to their skeletons, and everything feels like a dream pulled from an old, damaged film reel. Yet in this gray, silent gloom, lies my chance. Up ahead, a bloodsucker. Seemingly a simple enemy, familiar from the very start of the game. But with my modest rig and barely a dozen frames per second, he becomes a phantom, sliding between glitches and stutters. In normal settings, he'd already be behind me, but disabling the lighting opens a different realm. A few extra FPS and the reticle stops jumping, movements become precise, the shot clean. And there he falls, quietly, no scream, just a shadow vanishing into deeper shadow. This is true efficiency, not in beauty, but in outcome. This life hack won't outshine, but it gives control. And in the zone, that's everything. Fine-tuning the experience. Performance issues came later, once the euphoria gave way to a desire for smoother gameplay. The key was using mods, a console utility and an optimizer. Links will be in the description, allowing deeper graphical customization than the default menu. I set the resolution to HD, disabled dynamic shadows and effects, and lowered texture quality to the minimum. I kept FSR enabled because it made the image feel less choppy, especially during movement. When every FPS is a matter of survival, during heavy scenes, combat, or areas filled with NPCs and anomalies, there's a neat trick. Using the modified console, pressing or disables lighting and submodel polygons. This gives you a 10 FPS boost, which can mean the difference between surviving or restarting. Sure, the zone turns into a ghostly outline of itself, a fog-cut silhouette. But in those moments, you're not clinging to graphics, you're clinging to life. Not perfect, but playable. No, it's not flawless. Cutscenes occasionally stutter, and PC set distances beyond 75 meters freeze, making sniper-related achievements difficult. But the gameplay itself, stable and fully playable. The atmosphere remains intact, the story flows. The zone lives. I finished the game 4 times. Earned stealth kill achievements, experienced multiple endings. And I realized, S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 isn't just a shooter. It's an experience. And one that's still possible on humble hardware. Just my path, let me be clear. This was my path. What worked for me may not work for you. Each system is different. Drivers, configurations, gremlins inside your case. So be ready for different outcomes. But if, like me, you'd rather play than wait endlessly for an upgrade, it's worth trying. Links to the mods and tools I used are in the video description. There you'll also find tips on settings, launch parameters, and optimization tricks. Just my path, let me be clear. This was my path. What worked for me may not work for you. Each system is different. Drivers, configurations, gremlins inside your case. So be ready for different outcomes. But if, like me, you'd rather play than wait endlessly for an upgrade, it's worth trying. Links to the mods and tools I used are in the video description. There you'll also find tips on settings, launch parameters, and optimization tricks. Just my path, let me be clear. This was my path. What worked for me may not work for you. Each system is different. Drivers, configurations, gremlins inside your case. So be ready for different outcomes. But if, like me, you'd rather play than wait endlessly for an upgrade, it's worth trying. Links to the mods and tools I used are in the video description. There you'll also find tips on settings, launch parameters, and optimization tricks.